Hello and welcome to our Wednesday devotional. So when our son was about 8 years old, I was a coach in the rec department. I was a volunteer coach, of course, and they put me on first base to be the first base coach. Well, you don't need a lot of skill to be a first base coach at that level. When a kid hits the ball, all you say is, stay at first or go to second. One time I got that wrong, by the way. Tyler was running towards first. The ball got away from the first baseman. I said, go to second. The first baseman picked the ball up, threw a strike to the second base, and Tyler was out by 20 feet. He kept saying, Dad, you shouldn't have sent me. Sherry said, you shouldn't have sent him. So I heard that for a while. So maybe it's not as easy as I make it out to be. But anyway, I tried to be the best coach I could be. I learned to talk like a coach. I'd say, attaboy, attaboy. Today's world, if you're coaching softball, I guess it's atta girl, but attaboy and those kind of things, wait for a good one. I said all those things that coaches say. So one time Tyler said to me, Dad, if you're going to coach, you need some cleats. I was wearing basic Converse running shoes. Translation is, Tyler was embarrassed that I was coaching first base without cleats. Well, I have a friend of mine who's a minister and a doctor, earned doctorate, and when his daughter this was years ago, when his daughter was about 5, she said, Dad, are you a doctor? People call you a doctor. She said, well, I'm a different kind of doctor. And she said, well, I don't think you can be a doctor unless you have a kit. Back in the day, doctors made house calls and they had kits. In the kit was a thermometer, I guess, and stethoscope and aspirin and things like that. So she felt like real doctors had kits. So yes, they did back in the day, and real coaches have cleats. I'm not a real coach. I was just a pretend, do my best kind of coach. So what makes a coach besides cleats? Well, great coaches, and there are a lot of good ones out there, need knowledge of the game, the sport they're coaching, experience in the game, skill in handling players and parents today, sound strategy, and also they need to be able to inspire people. No wonder coaches probably feel inadequate to do that, because that's a lot. It's a hard job. It's kind of like ministers. I think of the many times I went into somebody's living room or a hospital room or a funeral home, and a crisis had happened. Somebody's really sick, somebody's died. I didn't know what to say. I felt so inadequate. I learned not to say much, just to be there. But people might say, well, you've been to seminary for 100 years. Didn't they teach you anything? Yeah, but not all that. It's hard. You got to figure it out as you go. So sometimes we ministers feel very inadequate, like I'm sure coaches do as well. So even though I might dress like a minister sometime, wearing a suit, a matching tie and hanky, that kind of thing, that doesn't make me a minister any more than wearing cleats makes me a coach. So whatever your vocation, whether you're a coach, a doctor, a minister, a school teacher, a banker, accountant, whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that God has called you to do it with the greatest of humility, okay? We don't know it all. None of us do. And we approach each day, each Sunday, if you will, each game with a great sense of humility, and we offer a prayer that God would help us to do our very best given the situation that we're in. I love how the writer of James puts it in chapter 4, verse 6. God is opposed to the proud, but gives grace to the humble. We'll see you at the ballpark.